Hey, this is Andrew Brown, and we're continuing on with Lambda. So we have done a local inline file, a package, or a zip without packaging, a zip with packaging. And so now what I want to do is I want to, instead of using zip, let's actually containerize our application. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new folder here, and this one will be container. Okay. And we are going to want to bring over some stuff here. So I'm going to go to our last one and we'll bring in the bin, the function, the SAM, the template. We'll copy this over here and we'll paste this in to the container. And so this one is a little bit different because what we want to do is we want to create a Docker file. And the idea is we're going to build that Docker file before we go deploy it. So, I've done a lot of this, so I probably have the code lying around here. Yeah, I have one right here. I can go ahead and grab this and bring it over. And Docker is pre-installed on this machine. If you don't have it, you'll have to get that. This one is for 3.8, so I can change this over to 3.12. I think that's what we're using. Let's go back to our, go there, 3.12, yeah. And so we're just going to use the public image that is the Python one by AWS. And the thing is, like, you can use your own custom images, but you still have to do a bunch of work to prepare them to work with Lambda. So even so, when you're using these Docker containers, it's more like you can do this, and that way you can replicate the environment exactly if you're doing local testing. And so this one is actually including the requirements of TXT. So this is assuming that we have a requirements TXT file, and maybe that would be a good idea to start utilizing that. So we'll go ahead and make a requirements.txt. And I'm not really sure what we could do for this. Let me just look up some simple Python gem. I say gem, I mean library. Gems are from Ruby. I figured maybe Faker would be an okay example to utilize here, assuming we don't have any issues with it. So we can install this with the by placing in our requirements.txt file. So I don't remember the command, but like how to add a Python library to your requirements txt. I just don't remember if they have like a built-in command to do that. I usually just write it in by hand, but I don't remember what we have to write in for Faker. Well, I guess what we'll do, I'll just have to take a guess here. It's not that hard. But I can just type in Faker here, and we'll go back over to here, and I want to find the library Faker Python GitHub, so I can find the exact version that there is. We'll go here. It'd be nice if they just told us what it was. They don't. We'll drop it down. We'll look at the tags. 2410. So just say here 24.1.0. And I'm going to run this as a test to make sure that works. So this would be this command here. And let's make sure we're in the correct directory. So I'm going to go container here and just paste it. Yeah, that would work there. No, we have to go in the function. So again, it's not like we want this to actually run in the Docker container, but I'm just making sure that it works. Invalid requirements, did you mean double equals? Yeah, probably. There we go. All right, so that's installing. So I'm confident that that is good. We'll go over here to our function and we'll go over to the documentation. We want a very simple example. So we'll go ahead and do this, copy. We'll paste this in. And I'm going to change this so that we don't have to provide this stuff because I'm kind of getting tired of doing that. And some people might, depends on how it works, but sometimes people will say like leave things outside and have them globally referenced. I'm just doing it like this today. And so we have the format here. I don't want the second one. Just go ahead and say fake.name parentheses. This will be container example. Okay, so I'm hoping that this will work. That's set up. We'll go back to our Docker file. So yeah, we chose the Python version here, and we are bringing in the requirements.txt. Notice we're doing a pip install to install it, and then we're specifying the start point here. We're gonna have to go to our bin scripts because this is gonna be a little bit different. probably our template first, and we will go over and compare some code I have here. So I must have one that uses container. So I'm going to go down here. And we could comb the documentation. It's not fun to do. So I'm just going to zoom in here. Just say function, serverless. I'm looking for that Lambda. This is like a full, oh, here we go. So yeah, we need some metadata. So that's going to tell us how to run it. So I'm going to grab this. It's going to be the first thing I grab here. And I'm going to go back over to our code here. And we know we need the package type image. I remember setting up X-Ray for this. It was so painful using X-Ray. I do not like X-Ray. Sorry. Not sorry. If we want to override our memory size, we can do that in the timeout. Those are two important things. We just haven't been doing that as of late. We do have the execution role that we could be setting here. I don't think that we need it for this. Actually, we might, because we are utilizing a ECR image, and so we're going to have to push that. So I think we actually might need that. But I'm going to go up here because we need to define our repo. Yeah, it's not here. I'm going to go back for a second. And back again. I wish it would bring back open the sidebar. There we go. And we're actually going to have a bootstrap step because we need to actually create a repo to store this Docker container, right? So I'm going to go ahead and make a new file here called bootstrap. I'm going to paste it in here. This one's going to be called Python container example. That'll take out the profile. We're going to go up a directory and we're going to chmod this. U plus X, Lambda, bin bootstrap. Notice that it's set to immutable, so like the idea is that we can't push the same tag. We just have to create a new tag continuously, which is fine. We'll go ahead and see if this works. Bin. What the heck? This sometimes happens to me, so what I do is I just reload my, you've probably been seeing me do this a lot in the courses as of late. We'll just restart this and then it'll behave normally. This is a Gitpod specific issue when it does that. We'll hit enter. And so it's now created a repo. We can see that if we go over to ECR. Just going to open a new tab here. ECR here. So we can go over here. And so we have this new repo right here. So this is actually, it's going to scan it, which is great. I don't know if that costs extra money. So you might want to not have that on. You could just take that option out if you don't want to do image scanning. I'm leaving it in. I don't think there's a major concern for that. And we're going to, and by the way, just like remove this line if you're really concerned, but you can look up costs if you're concerned. But anyway, so now we have our repo, so that is good. We go back to our build step. I thought it was our build. Oh, sorry, our template YAML file here. So we have a template YAML file. So these are specified. That is fine. We'll go back over to here and look at our template YAML. And so this one here, this one actually integrates with API Gateway. So that's why it's doing so much stuff here. I'm going to go down here and look at our function again. So this one has a function role for AWS Lambda execute. SNS publish. So this is so that it has access to it. So I don't think we need to have this role here. So that's totally fine. The image here is good. So I think that's all okay. Yeah, so I think we have what we want from this. Let's go take a look at the build. Let's see what's different here. Template file, dir path. So this should be the same. I don't think we've changed anything for that. Let's go take a look at our build. This one does not specify the bin path. And by the way, I think it defaults to it. So even though we did not specify it there before, we can explicitly set it. I personally like to have it explicitly set. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here. Right. Also, this could be like that if you want. Doesn't matter. So just being very explicit about where that is. We'll go to our package step. I keep expecting us to have to specify where the ECR or the build is going here. So I'm getting a little bit mixed up here. Capabilities. How does it know that we created that ECR directory? How would it know? Just give me a second, okay? I mean, my other thought here is that maybe what we're doing is building it locally and then it's not storing it anywhere, so it just pushes the image. But it'd have to go somewhere, so just give me a moment to figure that out. Honestly, I don't know, but I'm just going to go ahead and just say a container lambda pi, and we'll just try to build and see what happens, because that's always the best way to figure things out. Just start doing it till it breaks and investigate from there. So go ahead and do sam build. Property metadata not defined for resource serverless function. Are you sure about that? Or maybe I just placed it in the wrong location. So go back over to here. Yeah, it might be on the outside, actually. It's probably not part of properties. Try that again. Build template. Go into this. Build toml. It still says zip here. So that's not good. So that is not what we want. We'll go back over to our template. We changed it. Oh, we have it twice. There's our problem. Okay. And maybe the metadata would work if we actually had it as the right image type. Let me go back here and take a look. Again, in our template directory. So in here we have, oh, it is up a level. Okay, that's fine. So we'll go back over to here and we'll say sam build. 500 error cannot locate the specified Docker file. We'll go into our build directory here. Just take a look here. Everything looks fine. Oh, this is supposed to be like this, by the way. Maybe it does need the base dir on this one. Probably not. Yeah, so still can't find it. We'll go back over to our Docker file. Maybe I have the pathing wrong on this. Yeah, it's going up a directory. And so it's actually in the current directory. I guess the other thing is, like, would we have to specify the code URI if we go to our Docker file? I mean, that looks fine. Did we specify in the other one here? Because we go to this one, and notice that it doesn't require the code URI. So I'm going to take that out because code URI is for zip only. All right, I think it would complain if we had that in there. Let's see if it actually tries to build the Docker image, because that's what it's supposed to do. It's taking time, so that's usually a good indicator that it's building. Yeah, so I think that's what it's doing. It's actually building out the container. Yeah, and so we have our container steps. That's perfect. We do have a 500 error at the top here. Is it the old one? Let's see here. So this is the build succeeded. I'm just getting confused from the old one and the new one. So let me just bring this up here. Sam build. Build succeeded. That's the old one. Because then we see that we have this here. No, I'm looking for this. This is what I'm looking for. Oh, yeah. So I ran it again here. Great. Did I run it a third time? Yeah. So this is our third time. Okay. And then there's our fourth time. I'm trying to find the latest one. Okay, great. So this is the latest one. So it builds the image. Good. Downloads the image. It installed Faker. Built. It's in good shape. Okay, great. So let's open up our AWS SAM and take a look here. So there's our build toml, nothing in there. And we have our template YAML here. And so it's referencing inline lambda latest, latest. I kind of feel like there's probably some way that you could actually name this. I also wonder if we could have specified our image URI. So if we go over to here, is there one for image URI? There is. So if we wanted to, we could push it to an ECR container, and then reference the ECR container. But right now, it's not referencing the ECR container, so I imagine that it's just going to use it inline and push it. So the next step would be to package it. So let's go ahead and package. And so this is where the image repo comes into place. Okay, so that's where it was missing. We'll go into package, and you know what? The reason I didn't see it is I think I had it in the SAM config toml, so we could specify it as a flag. But I think what we really want to do is specify it in the config toml. So go to the top here for a second. We'll go back. I want this here. There we go. And so if we go into SAM config toml, we should have in here. So I must have not put it in here because it's a little bit more sensitive. It's not really sensitive information, but clearly we're supposed to have it in there. But if we go to our package folder here, I'm just gonna check this again. This one has a prefix, which is nice. Okay, so we'll change this, and this will be a container Python. And it says image repository, so I'm thinking we can specify that here. So say image repository. Let's go take a look at what that option is. We need the actual package command. We have the SAM package. Let's put this in another tab. Close some of these off so we can see what we're doing here. And so in here, yeah, we have image repository, the URI of the ECR. Okay, so we have this here. I probably have to spell it right for it to work. What do you think? We'll go ahead and copy this here. We'll paste this here. Say image repository. And it wants the URI of it. So we'll go over to our ECR. I think this is, well, we haven't pushed anything to it yet, right? So view push commands. I think what we want is this. Like this is if we want to log into it. And by the way, we probably will actually have to log in for this to work. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now, as I believe that is something that we'll have to do because we actually have to push the image to ECR. And so we will probably have to do this here. At least that one step. So I'm not sure what the format should look like. Repo image URI for it was ECR. I'm just looking for the format of that URI or URL. Okay, so that's what I thought it would look like. So I'm guessing that's probably what we want. So go ahead and grab this here. By the way, that's just your account number on the front. I can go back here to our image repo. We'll paste this. So I'm hoping that that will work. Yep, it's working. Okay, so it's pushing to ECR. I'm really lucking out here today. I usually used to struggle with this a lot, trying to get the right settings. Google's kind of a bit of a pain just because they're not well documented. But anyway, so this is pushing. So we're waiting for this to show up here in ECR. If there's a problem with it, we'd have to tag it with a new version, but we'll wait for this to finish pushing. Almost done, it looks like. And is it done? It is done. Excellent. So now if we open up our SAM directory here, we have a packaged file. You can see that it shows the image URI in here. Don't really like the name inline lambda. I'm sure we could fix that if we want, but not gonna worry about it here today. We're gonna go over to our deploy script. This looks fine to me. I don't think there's anything special that we have to do here. And this is hanging up on me again. I'm just going to reload my window. And we're gonna do deploy and hopefully it successfully works. What would be more interesting is to do something like Rust, which is not a built-in runtime, but maybe we can try something in a separate video. It'd be really nice to do that. We'll just give this a moment, okay? All right, it's almost back here. Excellent. Okay, so let's go ahead and try our deploy. And similar issue, I'm going to go over to our SAM config toml. I'm just going to copy this here. Again, this isn't very sensitive, so it's not a big deal to have this here, but normally you would exclude the toml file in your git ignore file because you could have sensitive information here. Right now, nothing super sensitive. And we will attempt this deploy here. Hopefully it works. So just waiting here. Failed to create the change set. Invalid serverless application specification, resource with ID, invalid inline lambdas invalid, runtime handler layers cannot be present when the package type is image. Fair enough. So we'll go over to our template YAML. Wish it told us that sooner. And so it doesn't want us to have a handler in there. And it doesn't want us to have the runtime in there either. And we actually didn't do layers, which we probably should do. We should have done that first, but whatever. We'll go ahead and just clear this out. And the problem with this is that we now have to redo all those steps. So we're going to have to do the build. Okay. And then we'll have to do the package. Try this again. This is what I was kind of thinking we'd run into here. 500 error, could not locate specified Docker file again. Oh, we got to go up a directory. No, we don't. Why wouldn't it be able to locate the Docker file? What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the, sometimes this is what I'll do. I'll just go ahead and delete the whole folder here. And we'll try this again. Now it's not working. All right, let me just stare at this for a second, okay? So it's saying it can't locate it. I mean, we could go back and put the period in. It really seems like we shouldn't have to do that. I'm going to go ahead and try this again. All right, so it actually built it this time. So I guess our issue there was the fact that we had to go up a directory from where this file was, which is interesting, but whatever. I suppose it was supposed to have 2 periods all along. We'll go ahead and now package it. I notice there is no change because there's no change to our code. It really is just our template YAML that we want to change. And we'll go ahead and attempt our deploy. This stuff can be really tricky, but because you have to also have knowledge of containers. But once you figure it out, really the best way to deploy Lambdas is always containerize it. I really rarely ever go back to zip. But you know, when you're first uncomfortable with containers, it's very easy to want to utilize zips, but containers are just much easier to work with and debug once you get those core skills. So we'll just wait for this to deploy, okay? All right, so we got a problem, which is fine. I expected a problem at some point. And we'll go over to events. We'll take a look here and just fix this. We have source image, provide a valid source image. Did I not? Provide a valid source image. Let's go over to ECR. We'll give this a refresh. Here it is. Maybe it wants us to specify this. But I really shouldn't have to go grab that manually. Whatever, we're going to go ahead and give this a go. So if I go ahead and I just want to look at this here. What's different about this? Inline lambda. All right, give me a second, okay? So what I'm thinking is that maybe what we can do is take a look at the actual code here in the that gets generated for the package, because this is going to tell us where it goes. And so my question is, like, does it match the one that we grabbed there a moment ago? So if I go over to here, back to ECR, wherever that was, I grab this, does it match? Because if it doesn't match, how would it know what to do? Right? So we go here. And there could be like some variations on that format, but it looks very similar, except this one has colon latest in here, right? So what I'm thinking is we don't need to specify latest. So let's go back to our SAM config. And maybe this is our problem, is that we're providing latest, which is the tag. Because it didn't say that we had to provide the tag, right? And I'm going to go ahead and just delete this folder. I know it seems really excessive, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. We're going to try this again. We'll go do bin build. And there's an issue in our template file, line 10. I personally don't see an issue with our file. Looks fine to me. Let's try this again. Properties. Oh, well, now it definitely has a problem. Try this again. Sometimes it could be like an extra space that was added in there. Unexpected character, line 10, column 7. There is no... I don't know what it's talking about here today. Is this not the same file we're in here? Lambda. Try this again. This thing is crazy. Image. Save, colon, save. Is there some kind of like hidden character? Put double quotations around this. We'll try linting it. So there's nothing wrong with the CloudFormation, so it must be somewhere else that it's complaining about. Let's go over to here. I mean, those look fine to me. No issue here, so it must be somewhere else. Maybe it's in our build script. Line 10. It's saying there's like a / somewhere. All right, let me just figure this out, okay? Oh, you know what it might be? We copied this line as a comparison down below, so it's probably that just junk line there. That's probably what the issue was. Let's go ahead and try that. Yay, okay, great. We'll open this up. Yeah, we have template YAML, Docker file, inline Lambda, totally fine. We'll go ahead and try the bin package now. Successfully uploaded, so that's great. Now we'll try our deploy. Maybe we didn't delete the previous stack, and that's our issue. So we'll go ahead and delete this one. So no problem there. We just had to delete our old stack. And we'll try this again. There we go. And so let's see if it works this time, okay? Look at that, our deploy worked. Hopefully we don't have to debug this container because that can be a little bit tricky to do, and I haven't been doing that as of late. But anyway, we'll go over to our functions. We'll click into here, and this is our, it says zip package. Did we forget to rename it? That probably is old. Let's give this a refresh. There we go, container, excellent. And this one, we don't need to pass it anything interesting because we removed that there. So just say hello world test here, and we'll go ahead and save that and test it. And it's successful. It says hello Tonya Martinez because it's randomly generating it using Faker. So that was pretty good. I was pretty happy with that. We'll go ahead and test it again. We'll probably get a different name. And this time, yes, it's hello James Stewart. So yeah, we just containerized it. And I'm going to make that recommendation that this is the ideal way to work with containers. Or sorry, Lambda is to containerize it. That's what I would recommend to do, okay? What's really cool is you can actually package entire web frameworks, and instead of using Fargate or Elastic Beanstalk, you could run a smaller app on that. And we could do that with something like Lamy. So that's an AWS hero named Ken Collins who made Ruby on Rails app so you could run in Lambda, which I think is really cool. But what we'll do is go ahead and just tear down our stack. And obviously we'll keep our bucket around because our bucket's not a big deal. We'll go over to CloudFormation here. And I'll see you in the next one, okay? Ciao.